Welcome to Talk from the Terraces. Today we're going to talk about the Football Factory film. Obviously one of the better films made back in 2004 by Nick Love. Can you imagine that the Football Factory is going to be 20 years old next year? If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what will.
Well, I'm here outside Stamford Bridge, home of the top-flight Chelsea Football Club. And years ago, on these very streets, rival gangs of football hooligans used to run amok and fight pitched battles. The thugs claimed to be fans of the clubs, but in fact they were often nothing more than simple-minded hooligans intent on causing as much disruption as possible. Teams with names like Chelsea and, of course, their arch-rivals, Millwall, those names became synonymous with football violence and with crowd trouble. Now, the reason for the death of the football hooligan, some people say, was either the rise of the ecstasy tablet and of rave culture, or perhaps that they, the thugs, simply got bored.
You're wrong there, mate. We're not dead. We were just resting. I mean, what did you think? We'd be peeled up and dancing like cunts in muddy fields for the rest of our lives. It's in man's nature to fight. And when the drugs stopped working, we came back to football.
This is a little bit of Did You Know? Obviously, the original book was by John King. The first book was called Football Factory, as we all know. The second book was called Headhunter, and the third book was called England Away. As we all know, the Football Factory was made by Nick Love back in 2004, and it brought us great characters like Tommy Johnson, who's played by Danny Dyer, that did the original voiceover. Then you had characters like Bright.
How many of them did you say there was?
About 10. Please don't start, Bill.
Right, which one of them staring at me?
The big geezer with the heckin' cap on. See you cunt. I'll cut you first.
You had Zebedee, Raph, and all the rest of them. And I think it's one of the better films. But here is the Did You Know? I interviewed the late Martin King. Now, Martin King was a Chelsea legend. An author of Hooley Fam 1 and 2. He also helped write Gary Boatsy's Clark's book, Inside the 5-6 Crew, and he also helped write with Gilly Shaw's book, Running with a Pack of Wolves, and Jasper Thompson's book. Now, he told me when I interviewed him that originally they used the script by John King, who wrote the book. They were going to make this film, and Martin King was going to be the advisor to the fight scenes. And they were going to have characters in it. I believe Sean Bean was going to be in the film, rather than Danny Dyer, and other characters like that were popular at the time. Then Martin King once got a phone call by John King and just said, "We're all off the film, mate." Martin said, "Fair enough." They've brought in Nick Love. Nick Love's rewrote the script. They've brought in Jacko from Millwall to do the fight scenes. So that's that, basically. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the part of the interview where I interviewed Martin King, Roll VT.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the Football Factory, the film, because it was a book by John King. You had a little bit to do with the original, didn't you?
The original one, John phoned me up one day and I took my daughter Courtney with me and we met over Fulham Broadway, the pub opposite the station. It used to be the White Hart, I think it was the White Hart. Yeah, I'm sure it was the White Hart. It's changed its name now, it's an Irish pub. And we met in there and Martin McClutchan was there and Buster Bloodvessel and there was some geezer from... Anyway, we started talking and John said, "I want you to come on as an advisor."
Right.
So I said, yeah, I'll do that. And my daughter was there and she said, "Oh, look, Dad, there's so-and-so, so-and-so." There was a lot of celebrities, like Sean Bean and all them were sort of there.
Okay, yeah.
They'd all been promised parts in this stuff. And this geezer saddled up to me and said, "Oh, John King introduced me to this bloke, I forget who he was, what his name was. And he said, "Oh, I'm the director of the Football Factory." I said, "Oh, right, nice to meet you." The other geezer was Alan Niblo, but I'd heard all about him, that he was a bit of a wrong when it came to parting with money. So, and he looked a bit snidey. But this geezer saddled up to me and he said, "So what have you done then?" I said, "Well, I just done a few football books, Hooley Fan, and at the time just finished Naughty 90s, working on the Boy Story." So he said, "That's your credentials for working on a film." I said, "Well, I've been around the scene for many a year."
Exactly.
So I I think I've done the apprenticeship. I said, what have you done then? He said, oh, well, I worked on Biker Grove, Casualty. I started laughing. I went,
hang on a minute.
Fucking Biker Grove?
Hang on a minute.
You're doing a football, that's your credentials, is it, mate?
That's a bit of a reach, isn't it?
Yeah, and I looked at him and laughed. My daughter Courtney laughed. She went, fucking Biker Grove. Anyway, so he sort of went away a bit quick away from me, you know what I mean? And then they started filming him. A mate of mine, Mark, had a nightclub over. I think it was in Brentford over that way, or Ealing. No, it was over Ealing that way. And they started filming, and they booked this club for about a month. They'd done all this filming, and then I was meant to come in and be the technical director on it, on the original. And the money was good as well. I spoke to John and Martin, he was involved in it. And I said, yeah, I fancy that. That'll do me, you know what I mean? So, and then I got a call one day from Martin, and he said, oh, we've all been chucked off the film. I said, well, what's happened? He said, well, John's got chucked off. They're not using John's script no more. Nick Love's come in and he's taken over. He's rewrote the script. He's got another geezer, Jacko from Millwall, doing your role.
Right.
Oh, fair enough. You know, I weren't banking on it. You know what I mean? It wasn't the end of the world.
No.
But so then it changed the Football Factory to how it is now. The original, we went. There was a theatre company in Brighton who done the original play, and it went round the country with this play. There was about 12 people in the play. And the actual original play was better than both films. The play was really good. And the first lot of filming apparently was really good as well. But Nick Love's one was a bit far-fetched, I thought. You know what I mean? You know, but it was all right. But John's original script was better than Nick Love's one. That's what I felt anyway. So, but I was intended or was meant to be working on the original, but got chucked off of it before it even started. So there you go.
Because when we watch these films, we don't know the history behind them.
No, but I don't think there's
could have been.
I don't think you can recreate a fight scene like in the Football Factory. You had a few people like Ickmott, Steve Icky was in it. Ickmott was in it from Chelsea, was well known, and there was a few other football faces, Ginger Bob from Millwall and all that. Was all in the fight scene at the end with loads of ex-rugby players apparently. But you can never recreate. My mate Terry Time Walk Tell was in the one where they threw the gas canister in the pub.
Okay,
a lot of boys
from
Chelsea were in as extras in it. But there was no good fight scenes anyway. I don't think you can recreate it.
So as you can see there, I spoke to Martin when I first started this channel. The full interview is out now on my channel. And obviously, you heard it from the horse's mouth. He was supposed to be part of the original Football Factory. They did a play with John King's script. So just imagine that the Football Factory could be very, very different. There'll be more videos coming from UK Casual soon. If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and there'll be more videos coming soon.